A very good evening to all of you. Being the convener of the study circle, I will welcome you all in this study circle of Universal Briefing number 33rd. And today we have a very eminent speaker present who is going to present a very interesting topic because the objective of such kind of study circle is to elicit or to explore new areas of research, and our speaker today will be exploring this in its true spirit. And we have a very eminent person of LIS field as our president. So without further delay, we'll be moving on to the main event or main session. And for that, I would request our beloved student, Pradipta Bandyopadhyay, who is presently working as librarian in Future Hope School, and he is also a mathematics teacher over there. He's a very prolific one. He's a very good student. So I request Pradipto to please carry on the session.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. A very good evening to all of you. It's my great honor to anchor this 33rd study circle of Universal Briefing. Our topic of this session is mapping the emerging literatures covered in DEWEY decimal classification, a study. Today, we have an eminent person as the speaker of our session, Dr. Nikita Lama, Assistant Professor of Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta. It is our great pleasure to have Dr. Tapan Barui as the president of the study circle. Let me introduce Dr. Tapan Barui, sir. Dr. Tapan Barui is presently working as an assistant professor and head, Department of Library and Information Science, University of North Bengal since 2012. Prior to this, he was a librarian from 2010 to 2012 in Banwarilal Bhalotia College, Asansol, Bardwan, and professional assistant from 2006 to 2010 in Vishwabharati University at Shantiniketan in Bhirbhum. He has achieved MPhil and awarded PhD in Library and Information Science degrees from University of Kalyani and Jadavpur University, respectively. Dr. Barui is a passionate activist for libraries and their essential role in modern society. He prefers to talk about knowledge organization, information retrieval, community information service, and any contemporary issues of library services and its education in academic gathering. He has delivered his speech in different international and national seminar conference, workshop, OP and RC programs on different themes. He is presently editorial board member of Edwin Group of Journal Incorporated at Jabalpur in Madhya Pradesh of India. Dr. Barui has written more than 30 articles and book chapters on various topics of library and information science in reputed journals and edited books. One MPhil scholar has awarded under his supervision till now, and four PhD scholars are working in various contemporary topics under his supervision. I warmly welcome you, sir, to take over the charge of this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Pradipta. Thank you for your nice introduction. And I am very feeling honored that I have to preside this 33 study circle of the Universal Briefing. For that purpose, I am very much thankful for our sir mentor, Professor Udan Bhattacharya, and the convener Avik Rai, and joint convener Atanu Das, and obviously the speaker today is very familiar to me because he is also my student. So today session I think it is a very interesting because in this particular platform we are three: our teacher, our student, and me. So it's an interesting session. So that's why I, without much more spending much more time, I would like to request Nikita Lama, Assistant Professor, University of Calcutta, Department of Library and Information Science. Please start your presentation. I think someone will introduce, or I have to introduce him. Her. Avik? Okay. So, Nikita, you,
Yes, sir.
I just request you to you can start your presentation.
Yes,
After
sir.
that, I will conclude all these things and the other modalities.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nikita. Thank you,
Thank
please.
you, sir. Very good evening to everybody. First of all, my respected teacher, Dr. Tapan Barui, sir, from North Bengal University, my guide, Professor Udayan Bhattacharya, sir, convener, Dr. Avik Roy, chairperson, Dr. Tanu Das, and all the participants present today. Today, my topic is mapping the emerging literatures covered in DDC, that is DEWEY Decimal Classification, our study. Here, hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, audible.
Oh, okay.
Clearly audible, please.
Yes, sir. So today my topic here I have placed the emerging literatures. So here in the title only itself, I want to clear that not emerging literature, not in the field of literature, but the literatures that have been covered in DEWEY Decimal Classification System. So as we all know that DDC is been widely used all over the world because of its it is very much relevant and very much easier to use for all the libraries so that the organization of the books so that it can be helpful for everybody to like organize the materials and the documents in the libraries. So introducing to the topic, so it is what we all know about the classification system is why do we use it, and what are the sources of the classification thing is like we have to organize the materials to keep them in order so that the materials that are placed in the shelves that can be used appropriately by the users and by the uh, people working in the library, whoever are disseminating the information through the libraries. So classification means grouping of similar things together, and in library it makes easier while arranging and shelving the books. It not only groups similar things together, but even helps us to understand the relation between the subject and their differences. So it also brings the similar subject together and place them in proper order and help in retrieving books and other materials easily. According to H. Iblis, he have also said that classification of books is a structural organization of knowledge. If it's well constructed, it will serve with maximum efficiency in grouping and regrouping of subject with probable requirement. These are the facts like what we have learned through the classification thing. So introducing with the title of my today's lecture, that is mapping the emerging literature covered in DDC. Now going directly to the literature class. Here I want to show the subdivision of the literatures in DDC according to the first edition. What we have seen in the first edition was these things under the class 800 and its subdivision like 810 to 890. This was how Melville Dewey has placed the literature. And through the time, from since the first edition was published in the year 1876 to 2024, that is almost a year of 178 years, there has been a drastic change and expansive classification has been done within the classification thing. So to map out what are the literatures that have been possibly introduced and what has been incorporated, here, coming to the 23rd edition, how this subject have been elaborately distinguished and placed in 10 subdivisions and subsections in the DDC. Now, with the comparison of the first and the 23rd edition, what we can find out is in the first edition, there were the literatures that have been placed, the advanced literature or the Western literatures, like in 810 treatise and collection 820 English literature, German. Simply, they have Melville Dewey has placed these literatures out here. And in the 23rd edition, we can find out these literatures have also been illustrated in appropriate manner, like the American literature in English, or for the 840 French literature and literatures of related Romance languages. In this manner, they have illustrated many literatures, 850 like literature. Before it was just Italian literature in 850. Now it is placed as literature of Italian, Dalmatian, Romanian, Sardian, Croatian, etc. literatures. So when I was going through the study of the literature class in DDC, I have also found out the advanced literature or the Western literature, which was very much acquainted with the Western people. They have incorporated and they have subdivided and subsectioned these classes accordingly, whatever was known to them. But what about the classes that belong to the other countries um, or the countries that are developing? So those literatures in the first edition, they have also given that place as the 890 other languages. And in 23rd edition, that this 890 is been illustrated as literatures of other specific languages and language families. So within the 890 class, we can find out many literatures that have been placed out, mainly with the literatures uh, to have a comparison of the literature and to be more acquainted with the literatures. We can refer 891, that is the Indic literatures or the Indo-Aryan literatures that have been placed in the modern Indic literatures or the Eastern Indo-European and Celtic literatures that have been placed under the class 891. So under the class 890, more classes have been subsectioned. As the 891, we can see East Indo-European and Celtic languages. Under this class, many other subsection has been done, like for the Indo-Iranian languages, Sanskrit languages, modern Indic languages. And within these classes, more Indian literatures has been incorporated, like the Sanskrit, Gujarati, Marathi, Bengali, Hindi literature, and other more literatures. So here what I want to place is, with the introduction of the more literatures that are known, that are being categorized and that are being shelved in the libraries, these modern literatures needs to be classified more appropriately, so that whenever the classifiers are classifying the documents and people working with this kind of with these areas while classifying, uh, it may be helpful for them. So without doing this, it is not possible for any of the documents to be shelved in the library or like preserved properly in the library. If the preservation accordingly with the subsections are being done in the library, that will be preserved properly and that can be used by the users for a very longer period of time. So these are some of the literatures that are very well known to our in India, and most of us we can acquaint with what are the literatures that have been introduced in the DDC. So there are other Celtic languages also with the period table. With the periodic table, they have been introduced in the DDC. So regarding the periodic table, it is also very much it is also an interesting thing to analyze. First, in the 800 class or the 890, all the Indic languages, all the Indo-Aryan languages, they have been categorized, they have been subdivided, and for all of the most of the classes, modern Indic languages, the periodic table has been provided. But whenever I was researching, I have also found that most of the literatures, their origin, their development was from different periods and they have their own background and histories. So it does not match with the periodic table that has been provided in the DDC. So there is also a space for a new researcher to work with the periods of the literatures and the languages that have been provided in the DDC. So these are some of the listed languages that have been given below under the class 891. So whenever we are working with the class literature, we cannot miss out the table 3 because it has to be associated with 800 class, as table 3 is usually used whenever we are working with the class number 800, that is literature in DDC. And table 3 is the subdivision for the arts, for individual literature, for specific literary form. And this table 3 has been divided into three categories, that is table 3A, 3B, and 3C. Table 3A is mainly used for the description, critical appraisal, biography, single or collected works of an individual author. 3B is for two or more author, also for rhetoric in specific literary form, and 3C for the additional element used in number building within table 3B, and for the instruction that that is under 700.4, 791.4, 808 to 809. These are some of the illustrations of the table 3 that we can find in the DDC. Along with this, along with the 800 class, we have to we can add up with the class 800. So as I and the forms have been given in the table 3a and 3b. There is a two division of 3a and 3b. I would like to share this. In 3a we can find the classification, the forms of the literary forms we can find, where 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 is not there, only 8 is there. And table b we can find 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 that has been illustrated accordingly. In 7 they have put up the humor and the satire. So this is the slight difference between the table 3a and 3b, and 3a is used for the individual author and 3b is mainly used for the more than two authors, one and two authors. So as we all know that in DDC there is a hierarchical notation. So hierarchy in DDC is expressed through the structure, notation. Notational hierarchy is shown through the length of the notation. And these here I have placed the example how the notations are being categorized, how that has been illustrated in DDC. So coming back to the modern Indic literatures. So modern Indic literatures in DDC that is placed under the class number 891.4. These are the here in this class mainly there are the Indian literatures that are originated in Indian subcontinents, and officially there are 22 recognized languages like the Assamese, Bengali, Bodo, Dogri, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, Konkana, Maithili, Nepali, Uriya, Punjabi, Sanskriti, etc. And these languages belongs to the Indo-Aryan, Dravidian, Tibeto-Burman and Austroasiatic family. So within this literature that have been recognized in officially recognized languages in India, we cannot find some of the languages like that belong to the Tibeto-Burman family, that is Manipuri, Methi, Chema, Limbu, Mauritian, Lepcha, Tamil. There are also the areas where we can explore and have an incorporation of these languages or these literatures that are being widely used by in different parts of our country. So incorporation of these literatures is also very important, so that the documents, so that the materials can be preserved properly in the libraries. So with reference to it, I can illustrate with the example of the Nepali literature, which I have recently worked as my that was my research work. So Nepali literature, which is considered to be an Indo-Aryan literature, has been scheduled under 891.49 according to the 18th edition. And these Indic languages, let me tell you that after in the 18th edition, since the 18th edition, these languages has been incorporated in DDC. Before that, there was no any classes for this particular literature. No subdivision was made. After in the 18th edition, the Indic, modern Indic Aryan languages, they have been subdivided and placed in the DDC. Before that, problems of like classifying the documents of the Indic languages, that was found before only when the classification work was going on. Problem in using it internationally was addressed, and the official effort started from the 16th edition published in 1958. But from the 18th edition, this Indic languages has been placed in DDC. So DDC is a pragmatic classification scheme dealing things practically, as we all know that. And since its inception, it's been almost 178 years. There has been expansively expansive classification has been done in the DDC. So coming back to the Nepali literature, what in Nepali literature, being one of an Indo-Aryan literature, when I was doing my research work, I have found that in most of the libraries in India, it is placed under the class 891.49. But the Nepali literature, where it is used widely, that is in Kathmandu, that is in Nepal. I went to Tribhuvan University. What I found was it was placed under the class 895.51. So I was amazed to see that why 895.51? 895 that belongs to the Tibetan, Tibeto-Burman languages, literature. But as I asked them why it is so, why you have placed that in 895, it is already there in the DDC that we have to, the classification is being done under the 891.49. The class has been given to the Nepali literature. So their saying was, before we started doing the classification thing, it was not placed. That maybe before the 18th edition. So for that reason, they have placed under the Tibeto-Burman language. But according to my knowledge, Nepali literature or Nepali language, that it does not belong to the Tibeto-Burman family. It belongs to the Indo-Aryan family. So without having the good classification thing, or with the expertise of like illustrating or dividing the classes or dividing the um, areas of where to place them, that was lacking. For that reason, they have placed that under Tibeto-Burman language. Now also they are following the same thing, but in most of the libraries in India, we can find that Nepali literature has been placed under the class 891.49. That was up to the 18th edition. And again, in the 21st edition, it is found that the Nepali literature has been relocated as 891.49. Now, this is the 18th edition scenario. This is the picture I have given. This is all. This also belongs from the 18th edition DDC. So Nepali literature has the existence in DDC since 18th edition, which was published in the year 1971. The placement of Nepali literature along with other literature in the 18th edition is placed as 891.49 others, and including other literature as well, Pahari Eastern, Hindi, Awadhi Bagheli, Chhattisgarhi. Along with this, the Nepali literature was placed. And in the and along with the periodic table, it is there. So we had to use the periodic table, whatever was provided in the DDC for the other languages, other Indic languages. This was the periodic table since then. So this is the scenario of the 21st edition when the Nepali literature was again relocated. That was placed under 891.495. This is the relocation of the Nepali literature. In most of the literatures, Indo-Aryan literatures that have been relocated again in the 21st edition. One of the instances is the Nepali literature, and periodic table has also been revived and has been placed according to the thing that I've presented in the slide. But whenever I was doing the survey, this periodic table did not match with the Nepali literature, the development, the origin, advancement of the Nepali literature when it was developed, what is the since when it was developed, it did not match with the periodic table that was provided in the DDC. So it is also very hard to like classify or see what are the literatures that have been extensively placed in the DDC, whether that belong to the Indian Aryo or the Tibeto-Burman family or not. We need to find out the problems that have been faced due to unexpansiveness. Like for the example that I placed in the Nepali literature that is being classified under the class 895, which has actually to be classified under 891. Due to the unexpansiveness, this was treated under the Tibeto-Burman family. So the category, the family to which it belongs, whenever we are classifying the literature section, it is also very much important. And since the DDC first edition to the 23rd edition, there has been a drastic change, drastic expansion of the DDC, not only in literature class, in other classes as well. So it is our duty to find out where are the loopholes that we can insert and penetrate, so that we can find out our research work to which classes we can extend, which classes can be extended up to where. That has to be looked for. And and with the interpretations, since its inception, different classes has taken different shapes and has been elaborately expanded as well, regulating the same principle and the methods of organizing knowledge. More classes can be expanded. When we specifically discuss about the class literature, 800, it is found that many literatures are unexplored or rather unexpanded. And among many other literature, one is Nepali literature that I have placed the example so that I can be clear to everybody. To overcome and to manage the overgrowing knowledge, it is demanded by many classifiers to expand the classification system that is been going on. So for the reason there is an expansion of the DDC. That's why it has been existed since its inception, like since 178 years. Like most of the, like more than 135 countries are using DDC, and their expansion is going on. As in the existing classification, various defects in the periodic table are also found. So for that reason, I have also I have also evaluated the problem of the periodic table, and I have tried to place out the solution for the periodic table that can be fitted to the Nepali literature properly. And DDC is popular due to its simplicity and very easy to classify, but not sufficient in few classes. It would be good initiative to expand the existing classification scheme for Nepali literature so that the documents that are not yet classified may be classified in proper order. These are there are many classes that needs to be explored, but particularly talking regarding the Indic literatures, we can find there are various literatures like the that belong to the Sino-Tibetan languages like the Meitei, Khmer, Limbu, Marchen, Lepcha, Tamil. They have the documents, but they are not able to be like classified properly according to as we are using the DDC in the libraries. We have to aim, I think, in my opinion, we need to we need to like explore more in classification schemes like the DDC, which is widely being used. If the Western literatures are being classified and are being placed so extensively, why not the Indic languages, or why not the literatures that have not been advanced as compared to the Western literatures? So the little effort of like expanding these literatures, these areas can help us to place them, like help us to like evaluate those or to preserve the literatures or the ever growing knowledge in this field. It will be good for a classifier or the for the preservation thing. So in DDC, with the modern Indic languages, as I said that in regarding the periodic table, there are many problems being faced which does not match with the origin and the development of the particular literature. So it is also very much important to look when is the origin and does the periodic table whatever has been placed in the for the Indic languages or maybe with the Indo-Iranian literatures or the Celtic literatures, is that really being matched with the for the to the incorporating new literatures in the DDC? We need to see that. So in Tibetan Burman literatures also, what we can find is most of the literature that belong to the Tibeto-Burman literature that have been incorporated, but section wise, like for the Meitei, Khmer, Limbu, Lepcha, Tamang literatures, there these literatures are extensively used, and they have many documents that can be collected, that we can find in the libraries. What about these languages? Why don't they be like categorized, and why don't they be classified accordingly so that they can get a place in DDC and the use of this classification um, can be made extensively and can be used extensively in the libraries. So the existence of the library, existence of the documents in the library, it is also very much important. When we like preserve them properly, their existence matter. If the universe, there is an ever growing knowledge, as we all know, there is an ever growing knowledge, ever growing information, ever growing literatures that have been all around, but the preservation of these literatures but the preservation of these informations are also equally important. And it is the duty of the people whoever are working with the information science, whoever are working with the preservation thing, it is their duty to acknowledge the fact that this system, the ideas, the new knowledge, the new emerging knowledge needs to be preserved properly. Unless and until we have the consent or the uh, proper idea of like why we are not doing, why we are not elaborating, why we are not expanding the forms, the literatures, or maybe the other general ideas or the universe of knowledge, if we do not classify them, if we do not preserve them properly, they are going to get in a vein or get lost somewhere. So it is also very much important to preserve these materials, acknowledge them, and incorporate in the field wherever it belongs according to the classification scheme. So, uh, literature forms, and I was talking about the periodic table. This is about the 18th edition, how Nepali literature has been placed. And for this Nepali literature, periodic table is mentioned out here like this. So whenever I was researching on the Nepali literature, when was the development, how it was origined, since when it has existed in the DDC, I found that the periodic table placed for the modern Indic languages, and for the modern Indic languages, Nepali literature also belong to the modern Indic languages. This periodic table did not match with the period I was dealing with, or the documents, or the documents that was published during the eras or during the periods. So I had to uh, like uh, I had to like place I had to propose a new periodic table that was matching with the eras of the Nepali literature. As we all know that we all are using the Gregorian calendar, and most of the Nepali literature that is being extensively used, that is in the Nepal, in parts of the India like the Darjeeling, Sikkim. What I found is, according to the Gregorian calendar, in Nepal, they are using the Bikram Sambat calendar, which is 57 ahead of the Gregorian calendar. So, like matching with the periodic table that has been placed in the DDC, it was not matching. And with the eras, whatever the history of the Nepali literature belonged to, the development of the Nepali literature, the eras of the Nepali literature, it was not matching. So, I had to propose a periodic table that I would put up in my thesis as well. So, that was the case of the periodic table, and this is the 21st edition, and the periodic table here again it has been revised, but since then also it was not matching with the eras of the Nepali literature. So there are many problematic areas where we can find like where we can find the literatures that have been placed wrongly or that have been classified wrongly, as there was no existence in the scheme or in the DDC. For that reason, Tribhuvan University, which is library where we can find the extensive collection of the Nepali documents, they have been classifying the documents in different according to the different class, or according to the Tibeto-Burman literature. So how can we rectify this type of issues to, if there is no expansion of the literatures or any of the area, mainly talking with the literature class, if there is no expansion or if there is no inclusivity of the literature that is there in India, it is very difficult for one to portray to portray or to classify the documents in proper order. So this was the idea regarding the emerging literatures that is covered in the DDC. This is what I have learned, or what I have found whenever I was going through the literature class, and many of the problematic areas, whatever I have found. Uh, Now I would like to have a discussion with the topic, whatever I have tried to explain, whether it is delivered to the listeners properly or not, or more ideas where I need to focus. I also would like to have a suggestions from the listeners of today's study class. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikita.
Thank you,
So
sir.
it is a very nice presentation, and you have elaborately explained lots of things regarding literature, specifically the Indic literature. So I can request the audience, if you have any query, then I will give my concluding remark.
There is a hand raised.
Yes, I would like to suggest Nikita some
Yes, ma'am.
resource documents regarding knowing about the Indic languages. First of all, you have to study the 12 volume of Linguistic Survey of India, which was done by George Gearsons, and it is from 1903 to 1923. And after that, in every census document from 1921 onwards, you will find the list of languages, and those languages are they are divided according to their writing systems, such as Indus Valley script, then Brahmi script, then Kharosthi script, and modern day writing systems. These are the basic documents that you have to need to study while you are discussing about the Indic languages and their literature. Also, there are families, language families based on the according to the Anthropological Survey of India. They have also people's history, done the people's history, where you will get also the culture and language. These are the basic documents. Those are also have to be studied while studying Indic languages and giving some sort of contribution in the DDC or any other classification schemes in library sites. That's all.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. And any
Hello.
other?
Yes.
Anybody, please?
Yes. Myself, Sumi Chakraborty. Actually, I'm asking to Nikita madam on things that the class number 891. 891 actually it is Indo-European and Celtic language. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
and 895. 895 is Sino-Tibetan and other Asian languages. So the Nepali, when you are indexing the Nepali languages, okay.
So 895.
895, that is Sino-Tibetan.
Sino-Tibetan literature.
In other Asian languages.
Yes, sir.
So you whenever you are talking about the Nepali languages,
yes,
so
sir.
it is fixed in 891 or 895. I am somewhere I am confusing.
Oh, it's in 891.495. According to since 21st edition, it has been placed in 891.495. I was talking about the 895 that has been wrongly used by the Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu. That they have placed that in 895.45.
Yes. But somehow there is also logic. I think so. They are not wrongly made that number. If you see it properly, so there is also reason, because there is a Tibetan and other Asian language. But
Nepali language, it belongs to Indo-Aryan language, sir. And within the Nepali, what to say, community, there are many the subdivided tribal people.
Tribal people,
but they are also they speak Nepali language.
But they have
but
they have soft corner for the Tibetan. Okay. So in this sense, they might be included.
But how can we say that, sir, it is a Tibetan language? Nepali literature is not a Tibetan language. It is a Indo-Aryan
maybe
language.
Their soft corner is there regarding that. So they are indexing in. But you cannot, or why we cannot disagree with their number. I think so. But we have to think how, in which way they are indexing that number. So
Okay,
it is
sir.
little bit debate is there.
Yes, sir. Debate is there. For
it
that
is not
reason,
the
I
question.
have
It is not the question of emotion. It is the question of logic. What you are talking
logic.
about the question of emotion. What is
Yes.
talking about the emotion is about the logic. Okay.
Yes,
So do
yes,
not go to your logic emotion. Stick to the logic itself. Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay. So, anybody? Any question, please? I think there is no other questions. So, Nikita,
Yes, sir.
as per your presentation,
Yes, sir.
many times you have used the one term. I have heard one terminology, that is the periodic table.
Yes, sir.
As I have
Oh, period
noticed it,
table.
periodic table. I think periodic table it is actually correct. It is the period table.
Period table, sir.
Periodic
Period
table is
table.
related to the chemistry, I think.
Yes, sir.
It's a
Period.
Mendeleev's
My mistake,
periodic
sir.
table.
It's period table.
So it's a minor mistake, although, but it is a, and you have tried to formulate one period table also. So it
Yes,
is
sir.
not shown, or it is not working, or not properly. If you mention some with the real life example, how your period table is
Yes, sir.
working fine or not, like these kinds of thing.
Yes,
I
sir.
think it will be the better thing to understand the we like the common audience. So it will be the better will be better if you put some real life example, and you have framed some period
Yes, sir.
table.
Yes, sir.
So it will be better to us to understand and how your period table is working in that. Another thing also you have mentioned DDC know we everybody know that it is the Western biasness is there. So
Yes, sir.
and you have also asking the question why the Indic languages and the other language is neglected. It's a Western bias. It is actually the DDC itself
Yes, sir.
some limitation, and not only your Nepali language, our
Yes, sir.
Bengali
Modern
language
languages
also,
also. In
Bengali
Nepali.
language also. In Vishwabharati, our
Sir.
great librarian Prabhat Kumar Mukhopadhyay also devised a new Bengali DDC in Bengali, and it is actually the extension. So many classes are extension, and it's working fine.
Yes,
Still,
sir.
it is also used. So, in that way, with the researcher, with the practicing librarian, if we think this matter very seriously, I think this kinds of thing, obviously the DDC editorial team to inform them that these things are happening, and actually it is the limitation of the system, as it is an enumerative system.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's why all are not covered properly.
Yes, sir.
I think Sir is also there. Sir can also write something regarding this thing. That's why the system error is also there, the system itself. But it can be rectified with the help of the extensive research and the practice and the practicing librarian, with the help of the collaborative work, and it will be a better schedule for that, because it is the very useful and very helpful to use very easily. It is used by the common or very common people, that means the library professionals. So that's why it's a very good thing, good attempt, and I can say that something like this. And that's all. Thank you again, and
Thank you, sir.
over to you, Ovik, please.
Very nice session, and of course, we conduct such session because of this kind of argument and this kind of debate. And research is nothing but it starts from an assumption, and we establish our fact or truth. We try to seek truth through our data. So, with this respect, our study circle and our speaker, I would very gratitude. I show my gratitude to our speaker to have such kind of research, and our sir, Professor Dan Bhattacharya, being the supervisor of such kind of research. Now, one apology from my side because of some network connectivity. I could not answer properly when our president, Dr. Tapan Barui, has asked me to introduce our speaker. That's from my side. I seek apology from our speaker and as well as our audience and our president also. Now, I would like to request Pradipto to kindly say a few words about our speaker, and then we will go to the vote of thanks session.
Generally, we introduce our speaker at the very beginning, but today we made a difference in this, and I seek permission from our president. Kindly allow me to say a few words about our speaker.
Okay, you are permitted to do that.
Thank you, sir. Today our speaker was Dr. Nikita Lama. Dr. Nikita Lama is an assistant professor in the Department of Library and Information Science, University of Calcutta, and recently completed her PhD from the Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University, under the guidance of Professor Udayan Bhattacharya, sir. Her research interests are public libraries and knowledge organization. Her research publication addressed the role of library classification schemes in organizing different literatures, discussing the present scenario of library classification systems. She has also presented papers in many seminars and conferences. Now, before going into a vote of thanks, I would like to announce that our next study circle number 34, will take place on 28th September. The speaker of the study circle will be Abhijit Noshkar, currently a PhD scholar of Department of Library and Information Science, Jadavpur University, and librarian of PM Sri Bagafa Kendriya Vidyalaya, Tripura. Now it's time for formal vote of thanks. I would like to convey my sincere gratitude on behalf of Universal Briefing towards Dr. Tapan Barui sir, the president of this 33rd Study Circle of Universal Briefing, for magnificently handling the session. Then I would like to thank our speaker of the study circle, Dr. Nikita Lama, for her informative presentation on the topic mapping the emerging literatures covered in DEWEY decimal classification. I would like to thank all the participants who have joined in this session for their active participation and engagement, which have made this event a success. I would also like to thank the convener of the study circle, Dr. Ovik Roy, librarian of Dirojio Memorial College, Kolkata, and the chairperson of the study circle, Dr. Atanu Das, librarian of Vivekananda College for Women, Kolkata, for their valuable contribution. And last but not the least, I would like to thank Professor Udayan Bhattacharya sir, the president of this Universal Briefing, for providing this excellent platform for scholarly communication. Thank you all.
Thank you, Pradipto, for nicely anchoring the session. One thing I would like to add, being convener of the study circle, that we are very much thankful to our beloved Suham Das and Abhijit Noskar, who are responsible for the technicalities of this kind of study circle. Suham has made the flyer, a very beautiful flyer, and Abhijit is currently hosting the program on live on our YouTube channel. So with this note, sabai bhalo thakben, and we are again meeting on 28th September. Till then, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
অভিজিৎ আচ্ছা, তোমার আজকে মিটিংটা হবে তো?